What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only Ash said it. AshSaidIt.com, AshSaidIt.com. Welcome to the Ash Said It Daily podcast show. I appreciate you guys so very much for all of your love, all of your support. It makes a huge difference. Over 1,500 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. Yes. Okay. So, Merry Christmas to everyone. All right. Today is the 25th of December. Yes. 2020 has been a crazy year. We spend a lot of time at home, and according to my latest guest today, we may want to spend a little bit extra time. So, today I have with me the founder and CEO of CocoTerra, Nate. Hey, Nate.
Hey, Ash, how are you? Merry Christmas. Great to speak with you and your audience.
Absolutely. And I was like, it's the most magical time of the year. What other way could we celebrate such a great time of the year than with some chocolate, some homemade chocolate, Nate?
Sounds good to me. I think chocolate's a great way to celebrate.
It is. So, Nate, how did CocoTerra start?
So I would say live in sort of two worlds. I have one foot in the technology world and one foot in the sort of foodie world. I've been a beekeeper since I was a little kid. Love to bake and make, and I've made even more complicated things, wine and vinegar and etc. And my brother-in-law actually came for a visit. He's in the coffee business. And I thought it would be great to take him to a chocolate tasting. What goes better than coffee and chocolate? Yeah. And he started discovering all the similarities between the coffee industry and the chocolate industry in terms of where the product is grown, how it's harvested, how it's fermented, how it's roasted, how it's ground up. In fact, chocolate was a drink for most of its history. The whole idea of a chocolate bar is a relatively new invention in the history of chocolate. And after all these discoveries, the question came up: well, if chocolate and coffee industries and history are so similar, why is it that people's appreciation for the fine flavor of coffee is so far ahead of people's appreciation for fine chocolate? And my brother-in-law thought about that for a second. He said, well, one big difference is that people actually get to make it at home. They have coffee makers. And they get excited to make it. They understand how the machines work. And the more they sort of learn about the machines and the more they make it, the more they appreciate it. Right. And that's where the conversation sort of ended. But in my head, I was thinking, wait a second. Like, there's a bread machine, there's a pasta maker, there's a juicer, there's tea brewers, etc. Like, is there a chocolate making machine? And so I went home and literally, started Googling to see if such a machine existed, and discovered that no. And in fact, chocolate making is not a simple process. It's multi-step, multi-machine, can take multiple days to do it. And I thought, come on, there's got to be. I love making stuff. I want to make chocolate. I hadn't done that before, and there's got to be a simpler way. So that sort of kicked it off.
Gotcha. All right, so you got this awesome idea, and you're configuring how it's going to come about and the best way of it. Because myself, I've made a few chocolate creations throughout the holiday season, as you can imagine. And it can get quite stressful. It can get quite messy. Before you know it, you're spending hours cleaning up stuff and putting things together and putting stuff back. And then your creation may look halfway decent. It may look nice. You still eat it.
Yeah. So, I mean, what we're doing is a bit different than just buying chocolate and working with chocolate. We're actually starting from scratch. So we're working with cocoa beans. So roasted, broken up pieces of beans are typically called nibs. People maybe see them on menus and other places. That's very healthy for you. And so we'll actually go through this whole chocolate making process. So it's really grinding, refining, conching, tempering, dispensing, molding, cooling. And instead of having, 3, 4, 5 different pieces of equipment and the mess of cleaning each one and pouring from one to the other, we found a way to really unify all these steps into one. And really, somebody who is a novice, has never really made chocolate from scratch before, can now essentially make, bean to bar chocolate and personalize it and customize it, and decorate it, and flavor it any way they want.
Wow. So, as the inventor, what was your first challenge in actually bringing, this idea to actually a product, to creating that? What was the gap?
Yeah, so there were a couple big things. So one was, the hardest is really taking multiple pieces of equipment that are very specialized and sort of unifying them into one single piece of equipment that's, this thing is 10 inches in diameter by about 13 inches tall. So it's the size of a coffee maker, let's say. And how do you get all this different stuff sort of packed into one?
Yeah.
That was certainly one challenge. And the other was time. Chocolate making, if you do it right, if you want really good quality chocolate, can literally take a day, 2 days. There are some steps that just take time. And our goal was, if you cook in dinner, like I want fresh chocolate for dessert. And that was a challenge. So we had to think about the physics of the equipment that exists today. How can we think about it differently? How can we make it more efficient? How do we heat and cool is another big one, right? Yeah. Tempering is one of the difficult steps in chocolate. It's probably one of the steps that people have done the most in their own kitchens, even though they may not understand what the science or the chemistry is behind it, but they sort of follow the instructions, do this, do that, and you get tempered chocolate. But when you're starting with, from the raw ingredients, you have to actually create these special, what are called form 5 beta crystals that temper the chocolate, and you don't get to cheat by throwing in tempered chocolate. So, finding a system that allows us to both heat and cool, again, in a small, compact form factor was also challenging.
Wow, that sounds like a lot. So okay, on average, to say if I wanted, like you said, to, we're making Christmas, New Year's dinner, all right, and we want chocolate for dinner. How long is it going to take me to make that chocolate so that it's ready and prepared for dessert?
Sure. So from beginning to end, and that includes, measuring out the ingredients, throwing it in, and then to a solid chocolate is about 2 hours. So it depends a little bit on what recipe you use. That's right. So instead of, I like to say, 2 days. There are people who I know spend 2 days making chocolate. We go 2 hours.
I mean, I will tell you, last Christmas before last, I spent the Christmas with my nieces, and we made we were doing like chocolate molds. They had this little thing where they were making like ornaments or something. That took like 2 days, Nate. It took 2 days of measuring the stuff out, and then you got to deal with like children that want to taste everything. They put their hands and everything on and everything. And you got to wait for it to cool, right? And then you have to make sure that this is cooled, and then you got to melt this and put this together. So you're telling me from start to finish, it takes me like 2 hours, and it's one machine? Insane.
That's right. And the nice thing is, I know, and you know what? That's the most common reaction that we get. And we've talked to a lot of chefs and chocolate makers. And when we say, "Hey, we're doing chocolate in 2 hours," the first thing they say is, "No way, it's not possible." And if you're doing it, it's not good chocolate. There's no way you can get it creamy and smooth in that time. And in fact, every time that comes up, we say, you know what? Send us ingredients that you want. We'll make the chocolate, with you. And we've had a chance to really get in front of, some of the world's top chocolate chefs. And we've made chocolate with them, and they've, confirmed, right? This is, wow, they're impressed. Wow. This is great chocolate. It's premium quality chocolate. And the fun thing is that really it allows people, again, who aren't experts, to have expert skills and to really, pick, the ingredients they want, whether that's, organic or, ethically harvested, cacao. It may be certain flavorings from certain countries that they want, and it may be certain recipes that they want because they want a healthier chocolate, sugar-free, or maybe they're diabetic and they want to use something like allulose or tagatose, or which is a zero glycemic index sugar or low glycemic index sugar. They can do things like that. For people who have nut allergies, people who are on keto diet or vegan, the idea here is that you may not be able to find the bar that you want, but you can make the bar of your dreams. So
insane. I love it. Oh my gosh. That's incredible, Nate. Okay,
And
so
the other thing I'll mention is that because you were talking about the holiday ornaments, is that we make it easy for people to decorate and customize the decorations on the chocolate as well. So we've played not only with different shapes, Easter eggs and little spheres, which could be like little, ornaments for your tree, but we've even decorated the chocolate that we make in our system, and we work with a lot of industry standard. You can hand paint the molds, or you can put in what's called a transfer sheet. So you could have, we've done, if you go to our Instagram page, you can see there are candy canes and all sorts of different decorations that you can put on your chocolate.
Wow. You just opened up my mind, Nate. I mean, I wasted a whole, holiday season, like, covered in chocolate and playing with the babies and stuff. That's insane.
That can be fun, too.
Fun but messy, Nate.
I mean,
it just, chocolate gets everywhere.
Here's the crazy thing about chocolate, is it's probably one of the world's, most popular food groups. And yet people really don't even know how it's made. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Like most other foods, people understand, like, where it comes from and what the process is and then what ingredients are in it.
Yeah.
And chocolate is sort of in this weird space. And so part of what we're doing is actually, teaching people, connecting them back to the farmers, connecting them to their food, understanding what the values are around, eating this thing that we love so much. So
yeah, that's incredible. So, Nate, I know that the product is not available as of yet, but how can people stay up to date with when it's going to be released and where?
Yeah, so if you want to be the first to be a chocolate maker in your own home, definitely go to our website, which is CocoTerra.com. That's CocoTerra.com, and sign up for our newsletter, because that's where we'll be announcing stuff first. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. On Facebook, we're at CocoTerra Co. Instagram, we're at CocoTerra_Co, and Twitter is CocoTerra Co. We post pictures of all the chocolate that we make, and it's really fun to sort of, if you're into chocolate and want to see how the machine works, it's a great way to sort of keep up to date, see what we're making, and if you want to be the first to own a CocoTerra chocolate maker, definitely sign up on our website.
I love it, Nate. Thank you so much for joining us today. Definitely appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
This has been an absolute, this is the best Christmas gift I could hope for. That you'd come through and share us with all your little tips and tricks, and it's CocoTerra. I'm jumping on it. I'm already going to go ahead and put my reservation in. I got to get that. We're already just putting it out there.
I hope everybody enjoys some delicious chocolate over the holidays. And yes. I love, I have this picture of like a kid with, chocolate smushed all over his or her face, like Christmas morning, digging into the treats. So I hope everybody gets to experience and make some wonderful chocolate memories.
Absolutely. I thank each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do. You look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. So much better. All right, you guys, happy holidays. I love you guys to pieces.